So what I'm about to talk about now is not something I see on TV. When you guys see rubber bullets, tires being bent, I know how it feels like. I've been rubber bullets, water cannon. It's unfortunate that our friends from the Democratic Republic of Congo are not here. You would have seen our marches, how police brutality takes place in this country when you march for what government is supposed to be providing for us in the first place, which we should not be doing. Because when we vote, they don't say that one day you're going to take to the streets and want what we promise you to have. The xenophobia attacks are not things that I read about. They happen in my neighborhood. They happen in my township. I am a chairperson of a branch that is made out of 250 people. Approximately about 50 are our African brothers and sisters from Mozambique, from Malawi, all over Africa. They live there. And I have taken a stance that whoever lives in my shack, regardless of which country or place they live, they must own the shack that they live in. No one is supposed to rent. Because when we say Africa is for African, we don't mean that certain people are supposed to be owning land. In 2008, some of you might be familiar with our press statements as Abahlali baseMjondolo. We took a stance. We said when these xenophobia attacks surfaced, that we condemn them in the strongest possible way. Because we believe that there's a saying in Zulu, "Nyawo alinambungu," meaning that a person is a person wherever they are. Umuntu ngabantu, humanity. Izandla ziyagezana. Try one day to bat with one hand, you'll never manage. So one day we will be in a chaotic state in our country and we will need our African brothers. What if one day they say, go back to your country, remember what you have done to us? So those are some of the things that we need as South Africans to really digest and see where we come from, what needs to be, a way forward that needs to be done. But I remember at our press statement, we took pride in saying that all the shacks that were affiliated to Abahlali baseMjondolo did not have any sort of attacks at that time. It's unfortunate that this time the attacks took place in Durban. They started in Durban because of course, a lot of things that have happened. But I want to take you back how these attacks happened. Because there are some information that government does not want to reveal to the communities. But we, the people on the ground, see everything. We know how these things are happening. We know how, that's why when government criminalized these things, we jump forward and say, no, this is not criminal. This is prejudice. This is the attack on other people. It was simple as that. One of the Congolese was attacked, petrol bombed. He was doing his honest job as a bodyguard in one of the bars in Durban. And a few young men were making noise in the bar and causing chaos. So the owner of the bar said, no, take care of these people, take them out. And he tried to force them after they refused to go out. They went to a petrol station and bought petrol. Put petrol in his face and hit him. Now tell me, friends, if this is what happened in Durban now, because when we said this is xenophobia, the Nigerians who resided in Point when this happened, because we had already had a relationship with the Congolese Solidarity Campaign, they said they killed one of your own, the Nigerians. If they had killed the Nigerian, we would have killed two already. So you understand now there is an anger from another foreign national about this national not reacting. So we had to call our friends and say, no, we need to calm the situation down. Hence we decided that we are going to convene a march. Now, this march was going to be convened before the comments made by the king of the Zulus at that time. We went and we applied for to march. We sat on for Section 4 meetings and everything, and the march was approved by the municipalities and on that particular day. But when on the day before, we received calls from the municipality that the march will not take place because there's an imminent threat. There were people who wanted to attack the march. So we said, no, there's police in this country, there's intelligence in this country. The march must go ahead. You can't say a march that is legitimate must not go on. But the problem here was that the march was, we were co-organizing the march with the Congolese. So the Congolese were in a way interested, because I remember in many of our march, when they say there's an imminent threat and then they refuse us to march, we go straight to the High Court and get a court order to say, no, we are marching. We give them a march. But because they knew that the Congolese would not go to court, so they stopped the march. On the day we convened at Border Park for the march to be convened, the police there, and they called us as leaders to say, you know the situation, we told you the situation. We say, but we need to convey this message that this is xenophobia and government needs to react. At that time we say government needs to react as speedily as they can. So the police, as we called people to convene the march, they started shooting at the bullets. Now they're shooting at people who are standing in the middle of the road who have not started the march, because before we start the march, we stand and then we start singing and then we go and send the memorandum to the person that we are taking the memorandum. So they started shooting with rubber bullets, water can. I remember it was water can, and that water is very itchy on your body. And we have, there's a lady from Ketocrest who was injured, who broke a leg while running. And there's a Somalian who was injured during those attacks, beaten by police. And there's a lady in my old lady in my branch who got injured as well during those attacks. Even now she can't walk, an old woman who went to what was supposed to be a peaceful process, because we said to people it is a peaceful process. We went according to the procedures. We applied for the march, we sat for the Section 4 according to the gathering states. But then what surprised us was the fact that at the City Hall, where the march was going, where the memorandum was going to be handed, the Member of Parliament was waiting for the memorandum. So you can see there was a clash. The provincial government thought that the march was going to proceed. Who's fooling who here when we say there's an imminent threat? Because if there's an imminent threat, the provincial structure should know prior to the municipality, because that's the government of the province. So what was amazing at that time was the fact was the comments around. And one police officer whom we sat with at Section 4, at Section 4 meeting, no police officer sits. It's not an ordinary police officer, not a constable. Those are high-ranking police who know the law. Said, what do you have to do with these people? Why are you supporting these things? Do you not want them to leave? Those were the comments of the police directed to us. And along the side, there were taxis, because that's the middle of the city, who were hooting and saying, whose country are you marching on? Have you ever seen a South African marching in Congo? Have you ever seen a South African marching in Mozambique? So those were the comments. Abahlali, they must go. That was a turning point. as far as the xenophobia attacks, because on that particular day, some were saying, we are leaving you for now, but you are going back to the township and slums. Today you are not going to sleep. So we went ahead with the memorandum because the person who was supposed to receive it was already there. Even though we walked on the pavement, we went chanting slogan, Africa unites, and so on. And when say Ubuntu, Ubuntu, Umuntu, Umuntu, Ngabantu, and we went until we reached there and the memorandum was reached. But friends, I want to say that this march, at the time we thought that it was unsuccessful. But Professor will tell you that a march that is unsuccessful is the march that is recognized, because now the media was there. When we were rubber bullets and everything, the media was there, the focus was there. What do these people want? And at that very moment, the ministers from all the provincial legislature came to the city hall to find out what was our cry about. And that's the success of a march that does not take place. Because if we had a memorandum in a peaceful march and we hand over, they take it and put it in the bin. That's what they normally do. But when the march doesn't take place and there's tires and fighting and breaking down of things, that's what government reacts. It's a culture in this country. It's a culture that's what don't think that South Africans are crazy when they do this. They know it's because government will respond if we do this. It's not, South Africans are not stupid. South Africans, we do sit down. We do sit down, try and negotiate with government. We do try to organize peaceful protests, but you never see those peaceful protests because the media is not interested in peaceful protests. The media is interested when there's violence. And that was the success of the march. But on that particular day, that's when one of the 3 people died during the nights. But I want to share something that was very close to me, personal to me. In my branch, I was sitting with these, because I call all the people in the community. I said, look, let's sit down. You saw what's happening in town today. There might be people who are attacking, because we've heard that there were people who were coming from Gamashu, anywhere else. The violent attacks were coming because we are closer to town on the other side. So the violence were coming closer and closer and closer. And I've heard people saying that the only place is Briding. But the Zulus in Briding are keeping these things. In Zulu they were saying, Babafuyile. That's what they were saying. Sure. So it's a very, very statements that were made. So we united as a family, as a community, and we said, no one will come between us unless if one of us allows somebody from outside to come and attack us. But as a group, if they come, we will. Eventually, they came. The taxi stopped and they dispersed. So we saw there were very few. So they were standing there, and we were standing this side and carrying stones, some of them carrying pangas and everything. So they couldn't come to us because they saw the group, that we were a strong group than they were. But what surprised me was the fact that a police van arrived at that time. And this police officer stopped. And now this is a group of people who want to attack us with foreigners. Because the idea was that when we get to Briding, what we're going to do is we're going to beat them and beat the South Africans, because the South Africans are keeping them. That was the initial idea. So the police officer comes and he says to the foreigners, jump in the van. These are Zulus, they're going to beat you. Now this is the man who's supposed to protect himself. He says, get in the van, you will be calling us now when these people are beating you. You will be running to the police station when these people are killing you. So these are Zulus, I know them. They will not stop. So get in the van. Instead of calling back up and saying, hey, there are people who are carrying dangerous weapons here and so on and so on. So these people started throwing stones at us, about 2 weeks we couldn't sleep because we were expecting a war that was going to take place any stage at that time. So what I'm saying, friends, is xenophobia, to me, it was something I experienced at hand. I know, and it is shameful that, as I said, as I walked in Durban yesterday, we were arranging the travel arrangements. We were making the travel arrangements, and I was coming, and then a Pakistani stabbed another South Africans. And at the moment, I don't know what state Durban is. But some of those things are not going to be told. But there were public police, metro police, a man was lying on the floor, and people now are attacking people that were not even involved. Because I've always said that crime, a criminal is a criminal. A foreigner is a foreigner. Just as much as a South African law-abiding citizen is a South African law-abiding citizen, and a criminal South African is a criminal. So there's a difference between this. So let's not say these people are criminals, they're bringing this and this and this. It is different. There's a difference between a criminal and a law-abiding citizen. So I'm very concerned about some of the comments, because the SG of the ANC made a comment and said that there should be a camp at the border to screen people before they get into the country. So I'm saying, I mean, this is I don't know. But I'm a Sotho speaking person. I'm from Badati, I'm from KwaZulu-Natal. It's in the Eastern Cape, I love my language. I grew up in KwaZulu-Natal, and when I went to Matatele, I was already old, so I made an impact. I made an effort rather to learn my language as possible as I can. So I like to speak Sotho when someone is Sotho. I remember at one stage I was afraid during this attempt to speak my language. I was at a shop one day and I was speaking to a Sotho person, and somebody said, "Kanti now we don't know." So I'm one of them. Messages were surfacing in Durban about who's next. The Zulus were actually saying, I'm saying this are next. This was surfacing in social media in Durban. I don't want to say a particular ethnic group is causing this whole thing, but you be the judge. I'm provoking a debate there. But I was meant to talk about the relationship between ourselves and the campaign, the Congolese Solidarity campaign. Pastor Raphael went into our offices after having heard one day us delivering our address about the life that we are living in Durban. One day, friends, I'll be able to share with you how we are attacked by Izinga Hulumeni. Right now we have a case in Pinetown where two councillors rather, ward councillors, are implicated in the murder of one of our leaders for revealing the truth about some corruption in houses and so on. The Congolese came to us and presented to us. But what we liked about them is that they said, comrade, help us. We want to go back to our country one day. And I want to say this, no one wants to be in a foreign country. Everyone, if the economy in their country allows, they will be living in their country, working in their country. But unfortunately, it's not the case. So they say, comrade, help us. We want to go back to our country. But the situation there is worse. People are killed every day. You know, maybe some of you may have read the message behind the t-shirts. 8 million to 11 million people are killed in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Yet nothing is reported about. But when 6 French people from France are killed, it's a big deal. But in Africa, it's a reality. People are pile up, killing every day. And we wonder when the nephew of our president has mines in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And Patrice Motsepe as well, he's got mines there. So we wonder, what was our government? Because remember, Jacob Zuma was facilitating the talks during the times when the DRC was in turmoil at that time. So was it discussing, was he negotiating business deals or was he negotiating peace? That's also, I'm also provoking to you a debate on that one. Another thing that I'm going to, that I want to answer, because there was a question on the cases of xenophobia attack. The government promised that there was going to be police officers who are going to deal with those cases directly, without any delay, none whatsoever. Reports have it that there's no progress whatsoever about in Durban, none. No one has ever, we don't know whether they appear in court or what, but there's nothing that's happening. There's no report on people being jailed or what. They're still in jail, but no sentencing or anything has taken place at this time. So there's no progress in that. But comrade, I want to also tell you about the march that was organized by government immediately now when these attacks were all over. We were part of, because it was a good thing, we decided that we were going to be part of the march. The march was well organized. They bussed people all over KwaZulu-Natal. Durban was packed. There were people drumming and everything, because at that time all foreigners, we had to stay indoors at that time. So we marched. But what surprises me were people within the crowd of the march, the comments that they made. I'm talking about people on the ground now, speaking on the ground level. People were saying, beat them, but when we stop you, you must stop. So we were in the march now, marching, peace, Africa, Africa unites, some were saying, on the side. So you wonder if government is actually dealing with this. And I'm told that government spent about 7 million for that march. So I'm asking myself, is government ready? No. Because what they did in Durban, they call all foreign nationals, they call all African brothers and sisters to the city hall to discuss a way forward. Now I'm asking myself, if you don't call the perpetrator, you call the victim, how are you going to solve this? Look, xenophobia does not take place at the city hall. It takes place in the township. You go there where it actually happens. Talk to the perpetrators. And that's what our movement has been doing and continues to do. Have a constant negotiation with those who are actually perpetrating this thing. And that's what we are doing and try to make people understand why people are here. No one wants to be in a foreign country. There are no human borders. people are here because they want a better life. They would rather stay in their country if they had to, if their country provided for them to do that. But I want to also talk about Operation Fear. To me, it's a joke. On Africa Day, Monday, I don't know whether these police officers knew it was Africa Day. They knocked at my door. When they knocked at my door, normally, you know, in KwaZulu-Natal, when you knock at a man's door, you must knock properly. Don't knock like that. So I had somebody go. And this person was even saying, if you don't open, I'll kick the door. So I'm saying, what's happening? So I go out. And when I go and open the door, the first thing, it was a man and a lady. This lady asked me, who do you live with in the house? Then I say, I live with my brother. And, okay, can I come in and see if it's really your brother? Then he comes in and he sees it's my brother. So my brother asked me in Lesotho, Babatla. So when this conversation between my brother and I was taking place, like it is to some of you, it seems like a foreign language, the police officer comes back and says, why are you speaking this language? Give me your ID. Let me see. I refused, but my brother did produce his. That was proof enough that we are South Africans. So it's going back to saying, is it the pastors? If you are asking for documents for me to be in South, it does not only affect our African brothers, it affects everyone. In Ketso Crest, Professor, there's a guy from Limpopo, he's Baloi. He speaks Sepedi. Now when you speak Sepedi and Sotho, even if you speak Zulu, your Zulu accent is not properly. It's not proper. He was attacked. They say he's darker in complexion. So we had to go there and resolve the situation. And say, so I'm saying that these xenophobia attacks are not only affecting our brothers and sisters from Africa, they are also affecting South Africans because we clearly don't know each other. We don't make efforts to know what languages. Because if you speak Shaman, you can be from Limpopo or you can be from Mozambique. So we don't even have to try and differentiate between the two, because it means that if that language is spoken in our country and spoken in that country, it means we are one. It means that there is an origination from that country. This is what we spoken in Zimbabwe. Yeah. So I fail to understand why is this thing happening. But in our movement, we have taken a strong stand. We are saying, and we need to have, I think we as South Africans had a great gift from Madiba, the gift of humanity, but we are not using it. I don't think anyone has ever asked themselves if there is a Mandela in there. There's a song that is sang by ANC. It is unfortunately, after this xenophobic attack, it says if Madiba were to wake up from the day to day and see us the way we are, he would cry. I do not think anyone, before they lift those pangas and everything, would ask themselves what Madiba would say if I do this. And that's what we need to ask. But having said that, I think leaders who put profit before human beings' lives are also at fault in this matter. leaders are concerned about power more than they are concerned about people who put them in power. I was saying that when we went to court, we were fighting for land, we were called land invaders. But next year they will be calling us voters. Once you vote for us. But when we take what they promised us, which is land, they call us land invaders. So in closing, comrade, I want to say that as Abahlali, we are against all repression. And to us, it doesn't matter who attacks who. Be they Mr. Nike, Mr. Faniker, or anyone else. If they are doing wrong, they are wrong. And it must be in the open, it must be known that somebody has done such a thing. So, Professor Wamba, we are very happy. I'm very happy to have seen you, and our brothers would have loved to have had a conversation with you. It's just unfortunate that they missed the flights. But I think what is happening in the Democratic Republic of Congo, as South Africans, we need to expose it. That's why I'm wearing this t-shirt. It says "Break the Silence." Tell the world what is happening in that country. That country is rich. You know, when you study it, the mineral resources that is not helping the people of the Republic of Congo, but being used by people who come there for their own personal upliftments. So I think we need to, as South Africans as well, to sit down and have meaningful dialogues and talk like Madiba had done, because this country was negotiated on the table. Never there was a time when Madiba said, let's take arms and kill one another. Yeah, in that note, I'd like to close. Thank you.